All right, the Colorado Avalanche need a wild third period, 3 goals in a short amount of time to take this thing back from the Calgary Flames, and they win this thing 6-5. What a wild one, Kyle. A lot to talk about with this one. A new episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. Thank you for tuning in, making it your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. And make sure you are following us on our social media outlets, LOPN_Avalanche on Twitter, X, Locked On Avalanche on Instagram, Threads. We're doing all of them today, Kyle. Questions, comments, concerns, and opinions, LockedOnAvalanche at gmail.com. Wow, I'm all over the place. And make sure to follow us on our YouTube channel. Over on YouTube, hit subscribe, get notified when a new show goes live. Make sure you are subscribed to our subtext as well. Link to that is in the show notes below. When you do, become one of our very special insiders and chat with Kyle and I one-on-one. Get your opinion on everything Avalanche, including this most recent game, which we will get to a little bit later. As far as comments, we'll get to a little bit later. We're going to talk about it right now, Kyle, because, man, if that wasn't a roller coaster ride, I don't know what was, because it was, you needed 3 goals in 4 minutes and 10 seconds to regain the lead. This was a back and forth game, and it's not really what you wanted to see as an Avalanche fan right now, because the season itself has just been so up and down, and you just wanted one of those solid come out solid, the full 60, moniker that everybody wants to use, and not have to have a come from behind victory. You just wanted that nice and easy win, just to have that for a 24, 48 hour period. And this was more of playing from behind. You get the lead, you give up the lead, and now you need a massive third. Like, this is not what you can't sustain this for the duration of the season. But as far as just an individual game, it was a fun game to watch because there was a lot of scoring going on.
And I know it's not sustainable, but the difference in this Calgary game that was lacking in the Winnipeg game and the Philly game, that third period, if you told me they pulled Georgiev and they let Calgary score 4 goals in the second period, and the Avalanche would come back and win in the fashion they did, you saw, pun intended, you're going to get a lot of it when it comes to effort and the Calgary Flames, but the Avalanche were playing with fire. Like, they were fired up. You saw the emotion. I mean, for the game to be led with Tatar getting a goal, and you see Ross Colton's celebration, you're like, emotion. This is a strange sensation. Look at this team having fun. And they carry. The second was rough. I'll give you that. It was very rough. But that third period, they pushed and they really fought for that win, which we haven't seen in a while.
They were I put it up on X and Threads that after they gave up the third goal to Calgary, you could tell that they were angry. And the first line had a really, really good shift that just kind of bled over into the next line, and then they scored the goal. Who got their third goal? I'm blanking on who had it. Was that the Ben Myers goal? That was a Ben Myers goal. Yeah. So, like, right before that Ben Myers goal, which is a beautiful looking goal, there was a really good shift by the Avs top line, and you could tell, like, that it was nice to see a fire lit under them, because a lot of people feel like, myself included, on time to time, that when this team gets down, not only do they get down in the game, they get down on themselves. And you don't really see that, eye of the tiger to just kind of, I think they still play well, but they were angry and jumping back in the game. And then you see Calgary go up by 2, And then you're sitting there watching and you're like, okay, what is the response to that going to be? And you saw what it was. It was my issues right now offensively. I don't have any issues with the Avalanche right now. Defensively is the problem. We'll talk about that in the next segment. But right now, I think offensively, the Avalanche have found their touch. While the power play, I mean, they had a lot of opportunities on the power play early.
Mhm.
30 seconds into the game, they were on a power play because Calgary didn't like a hit that I think Ross Colton put on. I can't remember who was on the Flames. I don't think it was a bad hit. I don't think it was a malicious hit, but I can also see why Calgary would run to the defense of
Yeah.
whoever it was that Colton hit. But they had that opportunity, and the first power play looked nothing crazy. The second power play looked better, and the third power play was awesome. And
Yeah.
that's where Cale Makar got that slap shot from like 10 feet away. That is, nobody's going to stop that. So offensively, I think things are looking good. They're still getting a little bit too cute here and there with some of their passing, but I think they have found their rhythm, at least when it comes to scoring for the most part.
And especially when Georgiev, well, we know what happened. It was not his best game at all. And the
No,
defense, it was not his. The defense did not look good at all.
no.
And for the first goal to beat Tatar, and then that little beautiful story at home gets taken away. And then Cale Makar on the power play. Hey, that's a plus. That's a positive. Something's going on the power play. And
Mhm.
then that gets taken away. The Avs continue to fight. And you love to see that in the forwards. Yeah, I completely agree with you. There's some of those goals that Calgary put in there. It was some weird defensive lapses that I was astounded and perplexed watching it. But
Yeah.
again, the forwards woke up and bailed them out from where honestly defense and goalie was highly suspect all night long. And for the Avalanche to walk away with honestly a momentous win, like this is good. This is you're back in the win column. Then you get to go face Buffalo, who blanked you the last time for nothing. So
Mhm.
build some of that confidence. EJ comes home, all the emotions, but
Yeah, that's gonna be big.
this is exactly what you want right now.
Is it though? Is it though? I mean, you,
It's Calgary's a
uh,
physical team, and
yeah,
you didn't get goony. You didn't let the emotions that you put into the net, you didn't let it affect you to
no.
the point of like just giving up or making stupid penalties. We didn't have a McDermott
Well,
effect.
I mean, you had that little dust up between Kadri and Georgiev, which was kind of funny to see. And it's like my first reaction was like, Kadri's fighting with someone on the Avalanche, and they were like, oh, well, they didn't play together.
Yeah.
But and I think Georgiev kind of went after the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I don't. It wasn't Kadri. Kadri was right there. I think Kadri was trying to like tell the ref like, well, you didn't blow the whistle, and that puck is in the net when the puck was already stopped. And I don't know who it was that came through before Kadri to kind of like knock it in. That's the guy that Georgiev should have went after. But whatever. Kadri was standing there and he didn't like it, and they kind of just threw a couple shoves at each other. It wasn't anything major, but they both got a penalty because of it. Whatever.
And there was no follow-up extracurriculars after the Drouin hit, where he was trying to follow up on that shot.
Yeah.
It was a
And I think he was just
50-50.
he was a little bit off balance,
Yeah.
and he wasn't expecting it.
But at
But
the
same thing.
tempo and the
Like,
momentum of the game, it was one of those that easily everybody could have got upset with that and said it just really took offense to that. And then
well,
more penalties and penalty kill.
why is nobody coming to the defense of Jonathan Drouin there, even though it's not a penalty? Like some dude just shoved your guy to the ice, kind of embarrassingly, and nobody's gonna go over there and just not start a all out brawl, but just a little bit of grabbing, mitts in the face or something like that. Nothing,
That
nothing. And this
this
is where
this
I'm
feels
like,
oddly similar to something we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, and what I meant was like, is this really what you want? Yes and no. For me, it's yes and no. For me, it's yes because like you fought back. You fought back and like there were moments that, and this has been the season. Like there are moments in this game where you looked good. I think the Avalanche in the first looked good. Things got off the rails in the second, and then you want to see what they did. You want to see what the response would be, and the response was kind of similar to that Dallas game. Like, well, we're going to stick to our guns here, stick to our system, and eventually that pays off. I like that, but I don't want to rely on that all the time. Don't want to rely on that all the time. So, defensively, though, that's where things need to really tighten up here with the Avs. So, let's take our first break here, and we will talk about the defensive issues on the other side of the break coming up next. But right now, we are going to talk about Sleeper and the Sleeper app. We talk about it all the time. And is there a better app out there for daily fantasy sports, Kyle?
No, not at all.
No, it's a simple
Final
answer.
answer.
Final answer. You win $1 million. You could win big. I don't know about $1 million, but you could win big playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. And Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. And for this game, I asked you yesterday who you're picking for this game, and you went with Ross Colton, I believe. Did you not?
I did indeed.
In this game. And you would have done pretty well. 1 goal, 1 assist for Mr. Ross Colton in this game. It's like
it rain up in here.
It's like, what you're talking about. But all you have to do is pick whether studs like Ross Colton, why not? We'll record more or less than their Sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus, minus, and more in any given game. So use the promo code Locked On NHL, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That code again is Locked On NHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. All right. So, welcome back. Thank you for making Locked On Avalanche your first listen of the day. That is always appreciated. Defensively, issues everywhere with the Avs, and it's only like we love Cale Makar, but he is, he is not immune to, a bad defensive play, and he's had them. Everybody's had them. Devon Taves has had them. It's a problem right now. So that's where my focus is for the rest of this month is, can the Avs improve defensively? Because right now they're just letting guys skate wherever they want to skate. And especially that goal where Makar's, I think that was the fourth goal because the fourth goal, 1, 2, 3, so the fifth goal. No, it was the last goal. And Makar it's not like he lost his guy, but he wasn't up on his guy, and he wasn't shoulder to shoulder with his guy, and they just kind of let whoever they're defending kind of just skate scot-free, and just that's not gonna end well, Kyle. When you play, I say when you play defense, but it's almost like you're not playing defense, and you're not just checking to see where your guy is, and it can just like that. That's how fast it happens in hockey, that a pass can be on that guy's stick and there's a puck in the back of the net. And we saw it happening, and it's been happening a lot this year.
The number one thing I would do to really shake up the defense a little bit, it's not going to be so much change up partners. I don't think Sam Malinsky is the answer currently right now. I would go back to the Caleb Jones experience.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm not down on Malinsky. I feel like they want to get him some games and get him some action, and this tells me like they feel like he has a pretty big future. When I shouldn't say big future, a kind of immediate future with them after this season.
And that's well and good with Sam Girard still not a member of the team right now. We're not trying to figure that out. I know Caleb Jones can bring you a little bit more of the grit and physicality that Sam Malinsky is not bringing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't promote him like to the top line of the defense. I'd keep the pairings together, especially for this Buffalo game. But I would like to see something else other than Malinsky. We know that he's talented. We know what he can bring. Yes, he's going to have a bright future. But right now, with the defense the way it does, I don't think that's helping him any.
I don't know, man. I think this is getting like this is learning on the job.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I think what's helping him is getting these games in. He's young. He's green. And I think he's not a liability, right? If he was, he wouldn't be in there. Right? If he was a severe liability, he'd be out. Caleb Jones, the way everything is right now, Caleb Jones would be in. I think they like both of these guys, and I think they want to give them. A lot of people probably don't like this because it's like put your best players out there right now and go win games. And I think the way the Avalanche are looking at this is like, well, we are winning games for the most part. I mean, you're having this up and down season, but we are winning games. So we have two guys that we really like. Let's get them, kind of like equal time right now. For now, they're playing fine, and for the future, because next year Jack Johnson's not going to be on this team. Let's get.
That's what we said last year.
He's not going to be on this team next year, and for this reason, you now have a little bit of a youth movement, and you still have guys that haven't even came into the fold yet.
It's true.
You have prospects that haven't even touched professional ice yet that are still coming up. So you just drafted another one this last draft. Jack Johnson is not going to be around. And I got to say, man, I like how Jack Johnson's playing this year. I think he's been good.
I was going to say the best, like Manson and Josh and Jack Johnson looked the best out of the defenders tonight. Like Taser had some lapses and Kale had some lapses. Like Manson and Jack Johnson, they looked really good.
They did. They really do. And Jack Johnson's playing well. Manson's been playing very well. Like, very, very well. But long term, Jack Johnson's not going to be here. So I think that's kind of why they're giving like Malinsky a little bit of a chance now. You'll see Caleb Jones come back. But that's just, getting guys on the ice. That's not like what the defensive issues are right now.
Yeah.
Is who's playing. What the problem is right now is the structure and how, like the defensive assignments that are being blown right now and the turnovers that are just happening in the defensive zone. I don't care who's out on the ice. That's got to get fixed. All that they have to tighten up defense in a massive way. And that's what I said for the rest of this month. I'm going to see if this defense improves just in not giving the opponent easy looks for easy goals.
And I think, honestly, the problem with the defense is something you talked about with the forwards. I think the defense is a little bit too cute. I think they're overplaying, and everybody's just kind of, I mean, they're all four members, Taze, Makar, Manson, and Jack Johnson, have that little bit of an offensive, they could contribute. So they're kind of playing all over. They're kind of drifting. They don't really have a role. They're not really playing defense because they can bite and they could start a rush. And I feel like they're getting a little bit too cute. They've been playing together for a while. They've been playing together longer than a lot of the forwards. So I think they're getting a little too cute, and you see the turnovers. I think it's just a little overconfidence and getting too cute. I think they just need to get back to simple, basic defense.
I don't know. Like it just seems like zone exits are an adventure so far this year. It's crazy. I'm looking up just like expected goals and stuff like that, but the site doesn't seem to want to load. But
I wouldn't mind just in those instances, just take it behind the net and just wait. Just breathe. Yeah. You don't have to constantly keep pushing. Like, I know we do that for some shift changes, but just do a good old-fashioned reset. Just try it again, because the way things are going right now, it's not working getting out of the zone on a rush, and 2 or 3 players are already out in neutral zone, and it's coming right back by you. I'd say just slow it down just a little bit. You're fast enough. that you could take it from 0 to 60 faster than the other team. So just stop, reset, and actually set up a play.
Which, for the course of the game, most of the time, like they are doing that, but it's just like the high danger areas, like the action zones, like right in the house, like right in front of the net. The Avs just don't seem to be the team to get their stick on a puck and get a good clear when they need
or a body. And I think
to. Or
they're
yeah,
worried
or that,
about getting the injury bug going again, and they're not sacrificing
yeah.
their body.
I don't know.
When's the last time you've seen a blocked shot?
Dude, you know what? Not to change the subject, but I saw block shots all the time from Calgary, and it was getting annoying.
Oh yeah,
Like the Avalanche were creating some pretty good scoring chances, and they'd have a nice like cross ice pass, and a stick would come from somewhere, and it would get blocked up into the netting. And I'm like, and on the other end, you're right. It was like, just shots were getting through all the time. They're trying to block
and the second chance efforts coming off pads of Georgiev, like that's you're not getting in there. You're not pushing people out of the blue paint. You're not getting on that second chance effort. And I think the physicality, the blocking the shots, it's lacking. It's missing, and that's what made me think of it in that Calgary game was just how good Calgary was at getting in the lane, sacrificing a body. It did not matter. It's
have you checked the stats for unblocked shots or no?
No.
Do you know how many Calgary had? Do you want to take a shot at it if you didn't look?
11 million.
You were just a couple off, but not by many. They had 31 block shots.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. Wow.
31 block shots compared to the Avalanche 12. I'm telling you, it was just everything was just getting blocked. So the Avs were getting looks. And is some like I don't want to give Calgary credit 31 times over for getting blocked. So is some of this on the Avalanche for not getting the shot off quick enough? For not, a pass, maybe that's just a little bit off, not on the tape, that doesn't allow your player to snap a shot quickly. I'm sure a lot of that comes into the mix, but it just seemed like I was like, you'd see kind of like a little bit of a rush, and you'd see someone streaking on, let's say, just the left-hand side. I get to the edge of my seat, seeing this opening up. The Avs recognize it, make the pass. I get even more on the edge of my seat, and then the shot gets blocked from nowhere, from out of nowhere. So I want to go back and watch some of them to be like, why is that happening? Is Calgary lucky that many times, or is it a combination of the Avs are just I don't know, maybe the angle that they're taking the shot at is just going into the blocked shot, the player who's blocking the shot. I don't know. But it's just infuriating to watch it. It's infuriating to see that so many shots get blocked.
And it's something that you just kind of don't address until games like this where a team does it really, really well, and you realize what the Avalanche are missing.
And when you look at the analytics for that, I mean, that tells a story. Your Corsi 4 for the Avalanche is 82. That's really good. Mm-hmm. That is shots directed towards the net. Your Fenwick score, which eliminates your block shots, is 50. So they have it at 32 blocks for Calgary on natural stat trick.
Give them 33.
Yeah, let's just keep going up with it. The goalie situation. We'll talk about that. Alexandar Georgiev was pulled in this game. A couple of those goals were not his fault. A couple of them were. So where do we go with that? We will discuss that coming up next. Right now, we have eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. And eBay Motors has everything that you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into what we like to call the Nathan McKinnon trilogy, speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home the win. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply, and eBay guaranteed fit is only available to U.S. customers. All right, let's just take a look at these stats real quickly, and then we'll kind of get into the goalie situation here. As far as points go for the Avs, a lot of people had them. Andrew Cogliano with an assist, Ross Colton with 1 and 1, Nathan McKinnon with 1 and 1, Ben Myers with the goal, Nichushkin with 2 assists, Fredrik Olofsson with an assist, Mikko Rantanen, 3-point night for him. 1 goal, 2 assists. Tomas Tatar, there's the 1 goal for him. On the defensive side, Bo Byram with an assist. Cale Makar with 1 and 1. Malinsky did have an assist, and Josh Manson also had an assist. So a lot of players with points, and it kind of evened out because at one point, your top line and Cale Makar was -4 at one point in this game. He ended at a -2. And I think Mikko and McKinnon, I think, were both at -3 at one point as well. So, I mean, it wasn't going well. Things were not going well. Part of that was the goalie situation. Alexandar Georgiev does get pulled after the second when he had given up 5 goals. It's like a little bit of everything, because you see the one that Connor Zary just knocks out of midair. You can't really. Yeah. That is what it is. But then he had one that's just a straight line of sight. That's got to get stopped 100 times out of 100. And that goes through, it kind of just went right through the side of him. It looked like he got a little bit on it, but that has to get stopped. And when that one went through, you were like, okay, like now we're just going to have to outscore these guys, because the goalie's not on, defense is struggling, and you needed an offensive explosion. That's what you got in the third. But what's your goalie thoughts right now? Are you a little bit concerned for that after that game, or is it just put that one away in the locker and forget about it and move on?
Yeah, and you mentioned that Zari goal. If you go back and look at the replay, he didn't react to seeing the puck. It was like he heard it go by him. It was like a delayed reaction.
It was weird.
It was I didn't like it at all, and I was like, "Ooh, this is not good." And like, he ended the night with like a 772, 776 save percentage. Like, it was not a good night for Georgiev at all.
No.
And you know what? And I hate to like say it, but this has been like a trend. It's not been incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I
will say that. I'll say this. He's been better. This was a bad game for him, no doubt about it. But I thought like he recently has pulled himself out of the slump that he was in prior to playing better. I think he was playing a lot better. But we loved talking about Frankie, and you could put him out there whenever you needed to, and there was a little bit. It was a little bit more even. Georgiev's always going to play more games, right? He's your number one. He's your go-to. He's going to be playing more games than a backup, and that's the way that it should be. But I kind of feel like with Prosvetov there, I feel like he's kind of done enough to take a little bit of the weight off of the shoulders of Georgiev right now, and maybe not split them down the middle at all. I'm not saying that, but spell Georgiev a little bit more than you have been. And I think they were not doing that early in the season because they weren't sure what they had as a backup. They weren't sure what they had in Prosvetov. And now you've seen him enough, or at least I have, where I'm kind of confident in the guy. I'm kind of confident that he can go out there every once in a while, more than he is, and not only spell Georgiev, but win you a game. And he went in there and he did what you have to do when things are not going right for the starting goalie and the backup comes in. And he faced 11 shots. So it wasn't like he faced like 3. And he shut the door and he didn't allow any more to go in and allowed the Avalanche to come back. I think he should start getting more playing time. I'm not saying he's going to get, he's going to overtake Georgiev. He's your guy. But Georgiev has played more games than any. I still think he does have that right now, right? And in the league, he's played more games than any goalie in the league. I think that needs to come down a little bit. Spell him for the long haul of an NHL season.
But it's not going to come against that Buffalo game. You're putting Georgiev right back out there because the last thing you want is a goalie sitting there thinking about that performance, not playing the third period, and internalizing it. You want him
I
to go
definitely
back.
agree with that. I definitely agree
You,
with that. I
you,
like doing that. When a
yep.
goalie doesn't have his best game, you put him right back out there. And I think most coaches will do that.
Yeah, but I do have faith in Prosvetov. I love what he does. He's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you cross your eyes, it's almost like having Frankie back there. So, I mean, it same kind of quality. It's not Michael Hutchinson. This is he's a step above that, but I do trust that, and I think
I've liked what I've seen from him. I do.
put Georgiev out there for Buffalo, and then Prosvetov gets the start. Nope, regardless.
Because after Buffalo, you have 2 days off. So, I think you put Georgiev out there. Let's see. I just had their schedule up here and I lost. There you go. So you have Buffalo and then 2 days off and then the Jets. And then you're playing the next day. So you have a back-to-back.
Yeah.
And your second game of the back-to-back is San Jose, who suddenly is playing amazingly right now. Like they're playing so much better. But I think you go Georgiev Sabres, you go Georgiev Jets, and then you put Prosvetov in there for the Sharks. I think that's your next 3 games. And then after the Sharks is the Blackhawks. So we'll see where it goes. Quickly over on subtext, we have a couple comments over there. This one's coming from Vargar. Maybe I should just be happy with the win. Mikko ended his drought. Makar and Max score. Colton is proving why I liked him more than any other offseason addition. Comeback wins are always exciting. But it was really ugly at times. Georgie looked off. The effort wasn't there to start. And then he just says, I miss Kadri.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. I was so torn watching him out there.
Yeah, and then he scored too. So I was like, and then Easton says, didn't need to be a comeback. I think this game single-handedly represents the absolute roller coaster this season has been. You're 100% right. 100% right. This is just, it looked good. It looked bad. It looked good. So,
yeah. What was it? Carl Reiner in Ocean's 11 constantly popping Tums. That's going to be me.
Is that... He was, and I mean, he's popping Tums, and Brad Pitt is constantly eating in that movie.
Yeah.
Constantly. All right. Last bit of business to get to. That is our Locked On Avalanche sound check. Kyle and I pick one song each that we feel best summarizes the most recent game. These songs go up on a playlist over on Spotify. So just open up the app, search for LOA sound check. And this is volume number 3. 1 and 2 are up there if you want to go follow those as well. But the active one right now is volume number 3. So what do you got for this one, sir? I feel like I know where you're going with it.
This is easily Dragon Force Through the Fire and the Flames. Here we are. Here we stand with the blood on our hands. We fought so hard. Now that we don't understand, break the seal of this curse if I possibly can for the freedom of every man.
It's like this song was written for the 23-24 Colorado Avalanche.
You betcha.
And this is not the first time you have picked this song whenever they have faced Calgary. I think in volume 1 you picked this one as well, but it fits. It's perfect.
It does. It's always a crossroad game with the Calgary Flames. There's always it's either sending your season up or down. You can never just coast through a Calgary series.
Never. And by the way, like these two teams don't play each other. The third and final game, the Avs have won the season series because they've taken 2 out of the 3. They don't play until March 12th.
These will be 2 completely different teams, top to bottom.
Right. And for me, it's kind of like what we were just talking about through the episode and what Easton just said, how this is just like a microcosm of the season. It's just up and down, and you never really know what you're going to get from game to game. And in this game, period to period. And that's why I went with the song called The Ride by Live. Live's one of my, Live is like one of my top 5 bands. They're just my childhood. My teen years in the 90s was Live, one of them. So Have followed them through all these years. Crazy stuff going on with Live. If you want to go on Rolling Stone, there's an excellent article about kind of like behind closed door stuff that's going on with them. Wild. But Ed Kowalczyk has basically taken Live and made it his own baby now. Still coming out. This album came out maybe 15 years ago. But yeah, the song's called The Ride. Fantastic song. And that's basically what we're on right now with this year's Avalanche. There we are.
A crazy story behind the scenes.
Exactly. I really hope not what the band members are going through, because trust me, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, that is going to wrap it up for today, everybody. So thank you once again for tuning in and making Locked On Avalanche your first listen of the day. We'll be back tomorrow, breaking anything else down, some morning leftovers that we got from this game, and anything else. So yeah, it's going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody. He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.